So hello and a very good morning, everyone. We are thrilled to have you join with us on the third session on series of webinar on ABC of cybersecurity powered by CXO Junction in association with iValue, wherein we will be delving into array of topics within the field of cybersecurity, covering everything from A till Z. And this is a third session. It means that we will be covering letter C, which says the topic cloud security. As I previously also mentioned that this is the first time in the history of cybersecurity industry that we are proudly announcing two first ever initiatives. Firstly, we will be covering the full spectrum of topics within the field of cybersecurity from A to Z. Secondly, as you all know, CXO Junction is famous and known for its big giveaways and giftings. So we are giving away to one lucky attendee a sleek, stylish Royal Enfield motorcycle in the end of the series who attend a minimum of 15 sessions in this series. Plus 3 lucky winners today. We will be winning Cyberfrat Gold membership, which is a lifetime membership of worth rupees 3 lakhs, which we are giving away totally for free for 3 lucky winners who will be winning the Kahoot quiz today. And one lucky winner of Wheel of Fortune will be winning Hold Your Breath and Guess. One lucky winner today will be winning one OnePlus smartphone. So don't miss the chance to stick with us till the end of the session, wherein we will be having an amazing fireside chat. Sit back, relax and enjoy, and ready to learn and exciting gifts in the end of the session. By the way, to introduce myself, as most of you already know me, my name is Iqbal Qureshi. I'm a manager B2B operations from CXO Junction. CXO Junction is a community of enterprise leaders to come and discuss the evolving scene of cybersecurity and risk management. In order to facilitate these kinds of discussion, we partner with many subject matter experts. Likewise, today we have partnered with iValue for today's session. From CXO Junction, we have Mr. Gaurav Batra, who is the founder and CEO of Cyberfrat and CXO Junction. And to introduce our associate partner, iValue. So iValue InfoSolutions is a premium technology services and solution aggregator. They adopt a consulting approach for the enterprise digital transformation around application lifecycle management to address emerging business needs in a hybrid multi-cloud model covering CAPEX and OPEX needs. iValue is proud to have served around 6,000 plus customers across industry vertical through 900 plus partners and direct alliances with 65 plus breed technology. So from iValue, we have Mr. Mitish Chitnavis. He's the CTO at iValue. And in every session, we will be having one solution partner. So our today's solution partner is Checkpoint Software Technologies. So talking about Checkpoint, they are the leading provider of cybersecurity solution to governments and corporate enterprise globally. Checkpoint solution protects customers from 5th generation cyber attacks with an industry leading catch rate of malware, ransomware, and advanced targeted threats. Checkpoints offer a multi-level security architecture, infinity total protection, and Gen V advanced threat protection. Checkpoint provides the most comprehensive and initiative, one of the most point control security management system. Checkpoint protects over 1 lakh organization size. And from Checkpoint, we have Mr. Sudipta. So he is the Cloud Partner Development Manager at Checkpoint. Now I would like to hand over the stage and consent to Mr. Sudipta So to start the session. So over to you, Mr. Sudipta.
Sorry to interrupt. I think Mitish will start with the first time Sudipta, right? Sorry.
Sure, no problem.
Well, I think, yeah. Mitish, over to you. Maybe.
Yeah, so good morning, everyone. My name is Mitish. I'm CTO for iValue. And so today, my idea is to quickly take you through some of the basics of security for cloud security. And because cloud as a subject is a massive subject per se, and it can't be covered in 10 minutes. So Gaurav told me that I have only 10 minutes to cover cloud security. So I've kind of said, let's address some basics on cloud security. We all know whose responsibility it is on cloud. Just give me a minute. Okay. Cloud security, who's responsible for what in cloud security? And if you look at this model, this I've taken from AWS, but the challenge is that when we look at cloud as a subject, every cloud or a CSP provider has their own terminologies, their own way of working. But underlying infrastructure, underlying processes remain the same. So what are we as customers or we as providers responsible for? We are responsible for end user customer data, end user data. We are responsible for platform applications, identity and access management. That's all what we develop, we build, we implement, and so on and so forth. Operating system. So operating system, network, firewall, and firewall configuration. That is something which we are definitely responsible for. So when we do a agreement with the CSP, it is very clearly demarcated or documented that who's responsible for what and what is AWS, GCP, DigitalOcean, or Azure is responsible for. So we know we are responsible for this, and considering this particular aspect, we have to now start mapping our risk, threats to our environment, and the processes that we follow to implement cloud security for our purpose as such. So any CSP would be only responsible for compute, storage, database, networking, different zones, making it available. But the top layer, at end of the day, we are responsible for, and we need to implement all the controls that are possible, controls, tools, processes to secure our application and our infrastructure as such. So basic elements, the cloud is very complex, but to navigate that, there needs to be skill set. There needs to be continuous learning process we need to go through, because it's now when we look at cloud versus on-prem, the part that is we are aware and we are we know very, very brilliantly and incredibly is that we know on-prem security, network, infrastructure. We talk about firewalls, we talk about EDRs, we talk about SIEM, logging, monitoring, all of that. That part now on-prem is matured, that part we know. But the moment we move to cloud, the cloud infrastructure completely changes. Okay. So what we have observed is that when we go to the cloud, okay, at that point in time, we look at we speak to the customers. Customers, they look at operational efficiency. They look at economics that are available with cloud, and they jump into the cloud without proper assessment, proper architecture, proper strategy in place. Prior to making that leap into the cloud, customers must understand that the threats they are exposed to from a cloud security standpoint, it's just not lift from on-prem and shift to cloud. It's not that. It's a complete process of shifting to cloud. Understanding the listing, understanding the cyber attacks, and understanding the entire security architecture that aligns with business and business goals and their objectives. We are always, as security folks, we are always enablers, but it is important that we participate in that entire process to migrate from on-prem to cloud, and also come up with a security roadmap for managing and monitoring cloud and cloud security and our resources on cloud. Number one, that's number one. Number two, when we move to cloud accounts, the basic is we need to protect our accounts that we create on cloud. Now, permissions for even as simple as VPC peering request is something like you would need a permission, and we need to train our resources on how to provision, how to provide these permissions, how to grant access from the account to the various resources that are available within our account per se. So that account management becomes critical. In fact, many a times I go back to the customer and I keep saying, guys, please have your production account separate and your testing account completely separate. You test, move into production, but don't have, even you have different security groups within the same account. You may have different models that you can implement within the same account, but specifically keep those two accounts separate, because that's where the whole process of misconfiguration to everything starts. The third part is cloud resource inventory. I think it is absolutely important to have the hardware, software, VPC, whatever you may have, the complete inventory available with you. There are tools which can do that. There are mature tools with better technology available that you can procure and buy. If budget would be a challenge, then there are other tools which you can use as open source to give you certain limited visibility as well to manage that inventory per se. Provisioning security is absolutely critical, because we don't want anybody provisioning platforms, provisioning servers, or provisioning any resource onto the cloud which does not have an approval, has not gone through change control and approval process. The next one I would cover is application security. Application security is absolutely key, because as the first slide said, that we are responsible for user data, data governance, data management, and application security per se. So at end of the day, the AppSec starts from SaaS, DAS, code reviews, testing, everything falls into one bucket, which is application security, and then comes its application deployment on the cloud. Whether you are using S3, Lambda, or any of those, or everything, every part of the security needs to be covered when we are deploying application on the security, on the cloud per se. So container security is, I think we know Jenkins, Kubernetes, any of this. To scale, we use containers, but the containers themselves can create vulnerabilities within the entire environment, and that's where we need to focus on container security as well. As security folks, we have always drawn network security diagrams day in, day out. And that's where documents get updated, documentation happens, and so on and so forth. So cloud network security diagrams are absolutely essential. That is the base also for implementing security per se. There are some great tools available. One of them is, we call it HAVA, HAVA, that actually integrates with Azure, GCP, AWS with your accounts. It will start mapping and automatically creating like a data flow diagram along with the network security diagram, which actually gives us great visibility into how the network resources or resources within our account are managed. So I certainly would recommend creating cloud network security diagrams. Logging, monitoring, data security are basics that what we were doing on-prem earlier, that is same which is moving on to cloud. Logging, monitoring, it is essential. All logs have to be captured. You don't want any incidents that go unreported. At least they are not logged or in that scenario. So logging, monitoring, absolutely essential on cloud, because the first thing that you would want to monitor is the identity and access management of what happens within your account. Classic example can be shadow instance coming up, so all of this within the network, when happens, it's important that logging, monitoring, and visibility of all the resources under your account are captured and are available for you to investigate and take action on it. So because data security is again same, but data at rest, data in motion, data in memory, these three parts have to be really taken care of when we talk about data security. Encryption, yes, but in cloud perspective, can you use keys, secrets, vaults, where you can manage the data independently? And that, while encryption is always available, but you can look at all these options as well. Last but least, yes, there's nothing called as zero risk. So incident management, incidents we will observe, we will take action on it, and incident management and recovery becomes absolutely critical in any of the cloud environments. If you look at past incidents on the cloud, classic example of what went wrong is between AWS and Capital One Bank in US. Capital One Bank saw a lot of misconfigurations. Luckily, they were notified on their website by a tester that these are the vulnerabilities which are available, and they had a major issue with that. But the way they handled that incident, one is to the public domain, the second one is internally and between AWS. So AWS, Capital One, and then in public. So and it's a massive bank, right? So they had to manage that incident very well. So it's a case study for all of us who are in cloud security to read through it, understand that, and how they recovered out of the entire incident. So incident management and recovery is absolutely essential when it comes to cloud security as such. Moving on to some of the incidences that you can actually test sitting, kind of a tabletop testing that you can do. VPC peering request, as I was talking about, Lambda layers compromised, all of this list, and there are many more, but I've gone one level down because the world talks about misconfiguration, but this is one level down. Below it, what happens if a mysterious EC2 instance just comes up? Okay. What happens with Route 53? Everybody talks about Route 53, but if there are dangling resources on Route 53, that means I've created an instance, I've configured Route 53, I've not removed the Route 53 entries, but I've removed the resource. So how then what happens? So some of this testing you can do like a tabletop testing and manage the risk, assess those risks, whether they are applicable to you or they are not applicable to you. It depends on your risk profile, risk scoring, and then take a necessary action on it in the real instance level or your account level. So some of these testings you can easily carry out. And I think, so within 10 minutes, I just wanted to cover and talk about these 2-3 things, keeping it very simple, keeping it basics, but it is important that even before moving to cloud, we manage, we strategize what goes on cloud, what does not go on cloud, what is critical, what is not critical. It's not only always about the economics that cloud provides, it also comes with its own risk. And it is important that how we cover our risk totally, in terms of data, in terms of brand, in terms of everything. So, Gaurav, that being said, I think this is my last slide. And I really thank you very much, everyone, for listening through this. And if there are any questions, I will take them in the subsequent time. Thank you.
Commendable, Mitish. I think amazing slide and how you have put these two slides together. I guess it's an awesome job because I have done cloud trainings a lot and months of time. And when you are giving this, it is a amazing coverage. I think you have hit the bullseye. And with these two slides, I can look into, okay, my cloud configuration is good or not, or all those issues. I think no one could have put better than this in this time. Thanks a lot. Amazing.
Thanks, Gaurav.
Yeah, amazing learning from you. So now, Sudipta, so the idea was like, Mitish will actually overall in brief cover what we need to look in cloud, but I will like to hear from you how Checkpoint fits in and where you think out of all these issues, which you can help to solve and you are already helping your customers to solve. So over to you, Sudipta.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Gaurav and team. I hope you're able to see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So let me just put it in presentation mode. Yeah. So I think Mitish set the stage very well. And most of the problems that Mitish spoke of when migrating applications to cloud are prevalent in the market, especially the Capital One example that he took. It actually happened due to a small unintentional mistake, by a cloud ops person, and it resulted in, almost $200 million of loss for the organization. Okay, so whatever Mitish said is absolutely true, and we are seeing it day in and day out. And here is now what I want to put across is how Checkpoint as a company can help you mitigate those risks with the least effort possible. Okay. We all know that Gartner has recently coined a term called CNAPP, Cloud Native Application Protection Platform. And I'm very glad to share that Checkpoint's Cloud Guard platform, which is meant for everything to do with cloud security, is in 100% alignment with Gartner's CNAPP model. Okay. And as an organization, we talk about prevention first, right? Now, as Mitish said, moving to cloud is extremely easy, right? Adopting to cloud uh, for reasons of scale, for reasons of flexibility, for reasons of economics, it's extremely easy, right, to move into cloud. And we have seen a lot of modern applications being born in the cloud, right? All the OTT platforms that we see today, all the gaming platforms that we see today, all have born in the cloud, right? But why is there a risk? Because the inherently every asset in the cloud can be exposed to the internet, right? Because you're accessing the cloud over the internet. However secure your tunnel may be, inherently that's the nature of cloud, right? So we have to understand what are the risks for the security organization within an enterprise that they will have to go through to make sure that give the flexibility to the developer community, but at the same time not expose the assets or your intellectual property to the various risks that can occur on cloud from a security standpoint. Some of the ones or the major ones Mitish has already covered, and I'm perfectly in line with that. This is just a pictorial representation of the same. So misconfigurations is one of the major causes of cyber attacks on cloud. In fact, Gartner predicts that by the year 2025, more than 95% of attacks on cloud will be due to misconfigurations. Okay, so we'll have to see how to mitigate them. Then Mitish also stressed a lot about the importance of having the right roles to the right users, which is nothing but the access management part of it, identity and access management. So how do we, deal with that using the platform from Checkpoint? Apart from that, many softwares that you put inside VMs and containers on the cloud, are there any known vulnerabilities in them, and how do we protect our business application from that? Apart from that, the world is moving towards shifting the security to deep left, okay, wherein trying to mitigate the risk in code right at the time of coding itself, not waiting till the time it is tested or being released. So developer first security is the term for it. So we will see how our portfolio and platform can actually help you mitigate risks with the deep shift left strategy. All right. Generally in the market, when we see, there are a lot of tools available for each one of these areas. Okay. And that is where Gartner felt the need to coin a new framework called CNAPP. Okay. And I'll just pick one particular area of it. Mitish mentioned about security diagrams, right? And he spoke about a very niche tool called Hava, right? Wherein you'd have to hook your cloud accounts to Hava, and then Hava will discover all the assets and it'll give you a nice, diagram. But what if I said that using Checkpoint's cloud security platform called Cloud Guard, you can not only get what Hava can do, but also against each of those cloud assets, we can give you a risk score, okay, based on common vulnerabilities based on misconfigurations, based on your business priorities. Okay. And basically, what we are trying to lead you to is effective risk management of your entire, cloud landscape, without having to go through the pain of doing it manually. So there are a lot of elements within our platform which help to mitigate these risks using automation. Okay, and we'll have a brief look into it. So this is what entitles our platform. It's called CloudGuard. Uh, just like any other, security company, we also did a lot of acquisitions, best-in-class acquisitions, to complete the CNAPP portfolio. But where we stand out from competition, and the gap is huge between our next competitor, is we're able to do a very successful integration of all these acquisition products into one umbrella. Okay, that we call it as CloudGuard. And it's not just an integration from a GUI or a management standpoint. Okay, it's true integration with the native services of all the hyperscalers: AWS, GCP, DigitalOcean, Ali, Azure. Okay, and also intelligence sharing between one module to another. Right, we are not creating silos uh, uh, within the cloud. Right, we are sharing information, and that is where you will see it's publicly available information that Checkpoint's threat prevention rate is 99.7%. Okay, because that's a very critical thing. You need to be prepared for zero-day attacks. Okay, and the only way you can achieve such kind of high threat prevention rates is by sharing intelligence amongst various assets and resources. Okay, and that's exactly what we do with our platform, right? So it's not magic. What we are trying to do is basically put multiple things together and give you an effective risk management engine, which not only takes care of perimeter and network security within the cloud for multi-cloud environments, but also talks about security posture management, compliance management, incident management, WAF and API protection, as well as infrastructure as a code protection. Okay. So just a sneak peek into how the platform looks like. And as I mentioned earlier, everything available in a single umbrella. As you can see on the left-hand side of that particular picture, all the different modules that I spoke of are available in one GUI with intelligence being shared across each other. Okay. And then on the right-hand side, you see against all the assets that we discover, we will prioritize it for you. Once you tell us which are those applications which are your crown jewels and business critical for you, and in the backend we have something called as Checkpoint Threat Cloud, where AI driven algorithms are run. Okay, which will go and assess these assets with respect to their security vulnerabilities, and it will assign risk scores. So what you can do is, from all the noise that you will hear from different tools and different platforms on your cloud, you can focus on the top priority ones, which are most critical to your business, and deal with them in the most efficient manner. Okay. Moving forward, what we can also do is misconfiguration management, right? So as Mitish repeatedly said, misconfigurations are a major cause for cyber attacks on the cloud. So we will run through your complete architecture on the cloud and automatically identify which are those areas which are misconfigured, or which are not in line with the best practices of the hyperscaler. Okay. So as you know, AWS, Azure, they all list out their best practices. So we go and compare your specific cloud account configuration with those best practices. Apart from that, we also compare them with the MITRE ATT&CK framework and the CERT-IN framework, and we come out with, again, risk scores, and we clearly identify the areas where things are misconfigured. Now, the beauty is this. The beauty is once you identify what the vulnerabilities are and you identify which are the areas of interest from security standpoint, how do you mitigate it? Okay. Most tools will give you scripts to run. Okay. And here is Checkpoint, which is the leader in cybersecurity, especially cloud security. We are giving you ready-made bots, okay, with granular level control on how to run those bots and against which assets to run those bots against. So you do not have to spend a lot of time first in discovering the vulnerabilities and number two in mitigating them. And you can also decide how and when to run those bots in which environment, in which of your cloud accounts, so that you have complete granular control on how to mitigate those risks in the quickest and the most efficient manner. Okay. So just to summarize, the CloudGuard is the umbrella platform under which we have everything to do with cloud security, right from network security, perimeter security, to WAF and API level security, to code security, security posture management, compliance management, misconfiguration management, and everything that you can think of on the landscape of cloud. Okay. So that's what I had in the limited time that we have today, but I'm open to questions and we can also talk offline. Okay. Over to you, Gaurav.
Stay tuned. Keep joining all the upcoming session and do provide your learnings and experience with us. So feedback form and LinkedIn link we will be sharing with you in our WhatsApp groups as well. So I will see you next week. And thank you, Nagesh, Mitish, and Sudipta. Thank you, Iqbal, and all CyberFred and CXO Junction team.
Hey, thanks, Gaurav. Amazing session. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye.